Welcome to TG2M with KayeCee Austin, your #1 destination for personal and business relationship advice, tips, interviews, and more.
As we're moving into the month of October, I've been thinking quite a bit about who I've become in these past 4 years in particular and throughout my careers in general. Additionally, what a further metamorphosis would actually look like. Let me share a quick story. February of this year, I was reminded by a few special people of my 1, many achievements in my prior career field, 2, the community charity events I chaired, raised large amounts of money for, 3, and the various advocacy programs I had also been a part of. All of this motivated me to apply for a position at a hospital here in Denver, Colorado. I recently moved here a year ago in 2021 from the state of California, which I had lived since 2012. At the time, I lived in what is known as Capitol Hill, part of Denver. So with still being quite new to the area, I was still learning the streets and segments of town. Long story short, I knew it was a large hospital I would potentially be working for, but I wasn't aware that it was in a lower social-economical part of town. Now here's the thing. I have a senior human resources management background in general HR, criminal justice HR, healthcare HR, financial HR, and security/intelligence HR. That's a lot of HR, huh? But so I can pretty much work in any sector of that field, which also has about 20 to 25 subsections within it, including areas like casualty affairs, mergers and acquisitions, etc., all of which I have been trained in. However, my last 3 years prior to my Army retirement, I was what is known as cadre in one of the only warrior transition battalions in the world. We serviced and cared for the wounded soldiers from the entire Army and some Air Force, as that is our sister branch. Just a side note, they've since changed the word warrior to soldier in the title. So many of you have heard of drill sergeants. Their job is, as we say, to put them in boots when it comes to new military recruits. Well, our unique job was to put them back in boots, using care and compassion while incorporating their families and loved ones in their entire process. Not all soldiers who were wounded or injured are able to remain in the military, so our job was to also ensure a smooth transition after all they and their families had endured. Well, that day, I quickly realized I was overdressed for my healthcare position interview as I walked the last few blocks from my parking garage and noticed the patients standing outside. One of my many passions will always be healthcare. The population for that particular hospital is predominantly civilian, but I soon found out that it serviced veterans as well. Longer story short, as I was walking up to the door, one gentleman was very upset and I found myself having to de-escalate the situation. Now, anyone who knows me knows I mind my business, but that day I didn't. The gentleman who was upset had endured quite a bit while deployed to war 6 times. Everyone standing around watching were just as surprised as he was when I, in my fancy clothes, revealed I had been deployed 3 times and experienced painful memories as he had. To let him know I felt his pain, I instantly found myself revealing yes, and women and children strapped to bombs as he was listing what he had seen and experienced. I feel that I should note that I have many, many friends since I've been out of the military and from being in the military who are Middle Eastern, who are kind, generous, and amazing human beings. An even longer story short, that day, many staff and those standing outside thanked me and wished me luck, saying they needed that type of courage and compassion at that hospital. I went into the interview, completed it, and although it was an awesome experience, I was overqualified, not to mention overdressed. As it was revealed during the interview, it was actually an entry-level position. It was that day, though, that I asked myself, what do you want to wear to work every day while still being able to assist others, which you adore doing, despite the sector or industry? My answer is, I love fashion, styled clothing, hair, and nails. Like everyone else, I like to dress casually every now and then, but business and business casual attire, coupled with semi-high fashion, are my thing. I can do this while still assisting in many sectors where caring about the client/customer needs are of utmost importance. That experience allowed me to truly examine an area I hadn't really thought much about. As I continued this journey, I now know what type of clothing I will be wearing. Coming from a career soldier who wore a uniform every day since the age of 17, I hadn't given it much thought. As you determine your next steps in your journey, consider asking yourself that question, as it will ultimately plant a seed and be a guide towards the next months, years, maybe decades of your life. Oh, and caveat, even if the answer is a t-shirt and jeans, courageously seek out or even carve out those types of careers for yourself. All right, until next time, stay fabulous, handsome, beautiful, and geeky. Warmest, KayeCee Austin.